this time. Okay, so we're still on the right foot. And now this time we're actually lifting the heel, lowering it, lifting the heel, lowering it, lifting the heel, lowering it. Ball of the foot, lower. Ball of the foot, lower. Ball of the foot, neutral is a better word. Inner edge, neutral. Inner edge, neutral. Because, right, we're using the entire foot when we walk. It's not just forward, back, and a linear, but actually it has a transverse action as well. So now outer edge, neutral. Outer edge, neutral. Outer edge, neutral. Now if you're not fatigued, if you're fatigued, you give it a kind of a quick shake. But if you're not fatigued, or after the quick shake, we're going to make a circle. You can start clockwise like we did. So I'm leaning in, rolling to the ball of the foot, the outer edge, and the heel. So I'm actually using those 4 actions that I just did to create a really nice circle. And is everything circling and gliding correctly in the joints? You know, the hip joint, the knee joint, the foot, the ankle. Switch the direction. So now I'm going counterclockwise with the bottom of my foot as well as my ankle as well as my hip. And if you take notice, even the crown of your head is making the circle. Even your spine is making the circle, your tailbone, right? Good. Switch the direction just a couple times in one direction and then switch it. A couple times in the other direction and switch it. And then give it a shake. Good. And then from there, just stand in Samasthiti. And so the most important part of the class is the ending, because your feet now are going to do nothing for 5 minutes. We're going to lay in Shavasana in a supine position. It's actually really good for all of the organs of the body. We don't have to fight against gravity. It's a beautiful place to go. And as you lie down on the ground, if you're cold, if there's anything that you need to make this more comfortable, I'm going to turn off this bigger light because we don't need it. And then as you're lying down and you're taking Shavasana, I want you to let go of all of the work that we just did. I know in some ways it's a struggle for people to let go, but if you think of this as a reboot, right? We turn off our computers and when it comes back on, all the systems are now anew. Right, so we're rebooting the body as we lie down and we take, I like 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm long-winded through this whole class and we had a lot of work to do. So 5 minutes would be sufficient, but 5 minutes, please, at least. And if you decide, I stay longer and you need to go, that's okay, but give yourself that 5 minutes of letting go. I'm going to cover my eyes, and so the rest of the class might be spent on clearing the mind, but we live in a kind of time where that is not always the way to higher mindedness, higher living. I think if you look at what your mind is seeing, even though the eyes are closed, or listen to what your ears hear, and then as we pay attention, sometimes we become more efficient at weeding out what's necessary and what's unnecessary. So in Shavasana, you might wiggle around a little bit till you get closer to the ground. Move your feet so that you can really rotate the hip joints outwardly and let the feet flop open. Also, walk your shoulders slightly under. If you need something behind your head, that always will apply if you have a hyperextension or a flattening of the neck. Good. The palms face up if you can. If you don't feel comfortable, face them down, but put them on your belly or your rib cage. Good. And then the exhale moves out through the mouth this time. Sigh, 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 sigh. And you might even notice the awakened feet, right? Even as you sigh out, you're like, oh, my feet are so alive from all of that attention. Good. Do that one more time. Exhale through the mouth. And then you're going to seal your lips. We're trying to turn on our parasympathetic system. This is the one that becomes passive in our breathing. So we switch from the conductor to the observer. So you keep your breath out, you seal your lips, and then watch at the tip of your nose, in your mind's eye, of course. Watch at the tip of your nose until the breath comes in all on its own. When it comes in, I want this easy, natural ebb and flow way down in your lower belly. It may not be a big rise and fall, but it definitely rises and falls. You could actually pay attention to the physical and tactile sensations of your sense of feeling, right? The ability to feel. That could be enough for you through this entire rest of this Shavasana to just pay attention to the way your clothes feel against the skin, the way the ground feels against your body, the way the ground supports your body, the way the breath shifts your body when it moves in and out, even if it's subtle, right? The other thing you may do is just watch the visions that come through your mind. Or even listen to the sounds you hear in the room or outside of the room or inside of your body. Whatever you choose, have the intention of letting go of any heaviness, letting go of anything that isn't working for you, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Good. You might even take this time to sort out some goals or some visions or things that you want to accomplish. Sometimes as you listen, the voices answer for you, your own voice. just want to give you a warning. We have about 30 more seconds here. And sometimes when I know there's just 30 more seconds, maybe what I was struggling with, I can choose to let go of quickly. So just want to know how it feels to be completely free and at ease, physically, maybe mentally even, and emotionally. Open to spirit, open to the universe, open heart. Be kind and gentle with yourself. Choose nonviolence. Choose to live in truth rather than the choice of not looking at reality. What is reality, you know? Move so that you start slowly, but maybe stiffen the arms and the legs, wiggle the toes, make the fingers rub together, bring the hands together maybe. As you choose, you might try to incorporate a pendiculation. This is a reboot of the nervous system. You stiffen the arms, you stiffen the legs, you stiffen the spine, and then you open your mouth. Oh. And you yawn. This literally pushes cranial synovial fluid, cranial sacral fluid, not synovial, cranial sacral fluid, down through the central nervous system and then out into the peripheral. So let's say the nerve endings at the end of the tongue, the nerve endings at the ends of the fingers and the toes, they all get a flush and a reboot. Good. We'll roll over to one side. We're more fluid than we are solid, right? Remember that as you let your little atoms fly in a beautiful formation today. You glide through life. It's more of a flying through life, right? In this body, even though we have identified in this solid mass that has very strict boundaries, maybe we might open our hearts and our minds to something different than that. Good. Bringing your hands to the center of your chest and touching the thumbs to the sternum so we actually physically connect with the heart. The heart has many, many nerves that wrap around it from the vagus nerve. This is one of the main nerves of that really communicate to our parasympathetic system. But also the thoughts of appreciation and gratitude serve this part well. So what is it in your life right now, today, that you can feel great amount of appreciation for? Even when everything's going not so great, can you dig in and find that sense of appreciation? Let your mind feel it, let your gut feel it. And we have that brain right there in the center of our gut, right? You know it because probably at times of fight or flight, when you've been frightened to death, you have felt the connection. But right now, use appreciation to stimulate this space. Good. When you're ready, we'll bow to each other and ourselves. May the long-time sun shine upon you. May all love surround you, and may the pure light within you guide your way. Namaste, ladies. Namaste. 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 So hopefully you walk out of here a little differently. Sometimes the work shows up later in the day. Like all of a sudden you're like, I'm walking on my feet differently. Maybe my hips are gliding a little more comfortably. All that from just the work of your feet. Excellent. Thank you for coming today, and I appreciate your patience with me in my recordings.